Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Transformers fans everywhere, welcome back. LPS, Last Prime Speculator, here to bring you another trailer breakdown. As always, we're not just going to be breaking down one trailer, we're going to be breaking down 4 trailers. We're going to be bringing down the Lenox TV little snippet we saw in the Ellen Show. We're going to be breaking down the extended TV spot. We're going to be breaking down the Legend TV spot and the Tessa TV spot. Let's get right to it. Now, we'll start with the Lenox TV scene. Now, we see Lennox. We see Lennox approach the Autobots. We approach Cade. It's a hostile. It's a standoff. They're all holding guns. And what's very significant is that this scene gave me hope. This gave me hope that Lennox is still a good guy. Lennox clearly remembers his time with the Autobots, back of his time serving them and fighting side by side with them with Nest. Lennox is doing this as, almost feels like Lennox is doing this against his will, right? He's forced to be doing this. But he said something very significant in this. He referred to this as a new world order. If you're not familiar with the new world order, it's a one religion, one law, one government, under control pretty much by the 1%. I believe that this whole movie is about secret societies. I believe that the Knights Templars are connected in this movie. The Freemasons were the successors of the Knights Templars. The Knights Templars were responsible for guarding God's treasures, such as the Ark of the Covenant. The Knights of Cybertron were responsible for protecting the treasures of Cybertron. That's how the bond was forged at this round table. This is all about secrets and secret societies, in my personal opinion, right? Now, why would there be a new world order at this time? Now, you're going to think after the Battle of Chicago, in the United States, I believe that there's hell on earth, right? After the Battle of Chicago, humans are probably killing other humans. Transformers are killing humans. Humans are killing Transformers. It is hell on earth, where martial law is established to basically reclaim order at this time, where there's chaos on earth in the United States. A new world order would make sense if this truly is about secret societies, right? But this really gave me hope that Lennox is still a good guy, and he still remembers his time with the Autobots, and they ended up letting him go. But whoever is controlling TRF is not good in general. A new world order is not good. It's a one world government, and we're seeing the place take after of the Battle of Chicago, right? Now, let's move on. Let's move on to the extended TV spot, right? Right here, we can see, in my opinion, when I look at this, we see the ice, we see the sky. This looks exactly identical to the opening Age of Extinction of the human element. I believe that this is the Arctic. I believe that this is where Darcy went and was doing her geologist thing, and we saw that dinosaur being frozen in the middle of the Arctic Circle, right? We don't know if it was a Dinobot, right? But this scene looks exactly identical to the opening of the humans of Transformers Age of Extinction, right? What if this scene right here was actually not a Dinobot? What if that cybertronian dinosaur we see could be possibly Dragonstorm, Steelbane? They're both dragons, and they both have, it looks like a T-Rex dragon type feel, where maybe this is actually where Dragonstorm or Steelbane or some maybe type of dinosaur-like Cybertron, we don't even know, this is actually the connection where it starts. The Arctic is also very important for Transformers 1, that's where Megatron crash landed, and Archibald Wiki found Megatron. The Arctic plays a very big part of openings of the Transformer franchise of the live-action universe. But in my opinion, this is exactly what it is. And how awesome and badass would that be if it is Dragonstorm, and that's who actually was in Age of Extinction, and they all tie it in, right? I had to throw that out there. I thought that was very significant. Moving on. Now right here we see Vivian, which I believe is Vivian, but what we see her holding is a gold medallion, which I believe is possibly Dragonstorm. We see this coin right here. Dragonstorm plays a very, very significant role in this, okay? Dragonstorm, I believe, is in some way possibly connected to some wizard-type idea now. He could be the one that was passing that artifact that we see Merlin being handed to, where the Knights and Merlin ran into where it wasn't supposed to happen. Gold is very significant in this, in my opinion, right? We see the gold medallion here. We see the gold United States spaceship getting destroyed next to the Ark, where we believe the Cybertron is wiping down everything. We also have seen toys, concept art and toys boxes of Optimus Prime wearing Bumblebee's gold. This gold medallion, the gold is very significant, right? Again, the Knights Templars were responsible for protecting the Ark of the Covenant, the treasures of good, right? In some way, this could also be some forage between the Knights and possibly the Templars, and somehow Vivian could be tied into Merlin or something in this era. Somehow she is important, where she is connected to some way with Dragonstorm or something of that era. Something of a wizard type is what I'm kind of getting on this. But it's a beautiful shot. I haven't really quite figured it out there, but that's very important. There's a lot of artifacts in this. Now, right here we see, is Cogman. I'm pretty sure. I didn't see the IMAX little 30-minute showing. If you guys did, if I get this wrong, let me know. But right here, I believe you can see the Templar cross. Cogman is handing this, and I believe he's handing it over to Cade, right? Now, what's very unique, though, is that Cogman himself, in my opinion, is handing over this relic to Cade. And I think that this relic is actually a transfer of some sort where human can absorb cybertronian powers or blood in a way. Cogman is a very unique transformer. I believe he was pre-transformer. I believe also he possibly could have served the creators, the makers, whatever, back in his time, that he was a testing ground. And he got away. He's a headmaster. He's also a guardian, technically, because he's responsible with Sir Edward Burton of guarding the treasures. But he's got a lot of humanoid figures. His chest, his stature, the way he walks, his thighs. He is not your typical transformer. And he is, we know, is a psycho. And he's very educated. Where, realistically, I also thought about that little snippet we saw of what we think is Quintessa with her smirking. She also has a lot of human figures, where basically he could be tied into also the human race. I also think he's responsible for passing over Excalibur. But with the toys and everything, you see him with the sword and all that stuff that had just been recently released, that he's very important. He's connected to the Knights, and I also believe he's connected to the makers. But what if he is passing this artifact to Cade of transferring some cybertronian power? Basically, kind of like him, he's giving the human perspective cybertronian blood for Cade to be able to use his powers for his quest to come up. I think this is very significant. Now, right here, we see this skull. We see this skull demonic scene. In my opinion, this looks like a satanic ritual. This looks like some sort of worshiping of some sort of dark god. Now, this also, in my opinion, looks like a sacrifice in a way, a ritual of some sort. Now, we see the desert, we see the background, and we see the horn on this skull. The horn, again, with that one scene with the horn coming out of the desert, I think that this somehow is tied into both. Where I'm getting at with this is that this is some sort of ritual of some sort of godlike type of worshiping. Where this literally could have been some part where humans are worshiping something dark. In Transformers Dark of the Moon, Dylan made it clear he inherited a client from his father. Archibald Wicki, Sir Edward Burton, they're before Dylan's time. What if Dylan's family knew about really what the secrets were? Like, Sir Edward Burton is the good version of the secret societies, and maybe Dylan's past father or whatever is the evil version. In my opinion, this could be some sort of ties into a ritual of a satanic worship of a dark god. The horns, I think of the Herald of the Unicron. I think of two things: the Herald of the Unicron logo, or possibly Predaking. It could be the Infernicus worshiping, but it's a demonic, satanic ritual. This looks like a sacrifice. In my opinion, they're sacrificing Optimus Prime. And if you think about it, they could be killing humans too, sacrificing for a dark god. We see the desert. I think that this is tied into actual land, or possibly something dark is underneath the ground. And the humans and possibly Transformers are worshiping the dark god. I possibly could think that this is Unicron. It looks like some sort of ritual. It's very creepy. This is very dark, man. Now, right here, we see the Nazi scene. We see Hot Rod and we see Bumblebee in action, right? And the building that they are attacking is the home of Sir Winston Churchill. The Nazis have taken possession of this. Now, this did not happen in actual World War II events, but in this time, it did. The Nazis have taken over, which is like basically Winston Churchill. They taken over the UK. They became in possession of this land, and it looks like Hot Rod and Bumblebee are trying to basically get it back. Now, what's very significant, though, is that the Nazis were obsessed with alien technology, right? The swastika is some sort of ties of Hindu worshipping type things. And if you also, the NASA program itself was also a Nazi program. The United States gave the Nazi scientists a mutiny because their technology was so advanced pre-World War II. They were about 10 years ahead of time of technology-wise, right? Now, I can't remember the actual name of the person who was the head of the program, the space program, but he said, where did you get the technology from? And he would always point from them being possibly a transformer in this movie. Now, what's very also significant is if you look behind Bumblebee's back, you see the Forge of Solus Prime. I'm going to call it. You see the hammer. You see the Forge of Solus. He's fighting Optimus with this hammer. This is back in the 1940s. This is during World War II era. How does Bumblebee have this? Unless this is possibly about time travel, right? The Nazis were also obsessed with finding the treasures of the world. They wanted to find the Ark of the Covenant. The Knights Templars were responsible for protecting God's treasures, particularly the Ark of the Covenant. This would tie in where this possibly is rewriting history, but it's very significant, this whole event. It's cool to see Hot Rod and Bee in action, man. It really is, man. So, moving on. Now, right here, we see Cade Yeager. We see Bumblebee being held prisoner by a knight, or possibly a Skeletron, right? Cade Yeager's got his power right in this particular event, right? This is possibly where maybe Cogman handed over that relic to give Cade this upgrade, this power, but Bee's being held hostage. Now, if you look at the ship and everything, this looks like right here that ship that rises from the ground. We also see Optimus and Bee fighting on it. We also see Optimus getting destroyed by the Knights. This looks like this ship is infected, man. I'm a personal believer that if you look very closely at this ship, you could see the veins in some sort of way where the ship itself is infected. And these could be some type of Inferticons, Skeletrons under control of Quintessa worship. These Knights are not themselves. They're evil. And it looks like Bumblebee's about to be decapitated. Now, who is Cade fighting against? Your guess is as good as mine. But this is either before or after the fight taking place between Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Bumblebee looks like he's about to basically be decapitated again. Now, right here, we see this little shot. Again, I didn't see the IMAX poster and everything. Or, I'm sorry, the IMAX shooting. But see that relic thing that Vivian's touching on Cade Yeager's bicep? This could be where the artifact where he gets the cybertronian power. I believe that this is where he gets from Cogman and is tied in some way with the cybertronian race. Cade Yeager is an inventor. Cade Yeager is I believe he's a knight. He's been rumored to be the last knight. I believe he was we know he's connected to Optimus. He restored Optimus. I believe in some way he's also connected to King Arthur. Sir Edward Burton and Cogman find Cade and Vivian for a specific reason, and that could be because of the balance between the human race, right, which would explain Cogman, and the human element, where technically Cade could be the balance, and also the balance of Optimus Prime, because it also seems Optimus only communicates with Cade Yeager. But that looks like where he's getting his upgrade, right? Where he's inheriting that cybertronian blood. Now look at this scene right here. We see a ton of cybertronian glyphics. This is a beautiful shot. There's a ton of artifacts in this too. But what's very unique is that in my opinion, this looks like a doorway. This looks like a doorway to something. Now, to what? I don't know. I'm throwing this out there. I think that this is a doorway in some way to a space bridge, okay? An opening where basically a knight, a certain transformer, or a certain human, only some sort of artifact can open this space bridge and basically some sort of time travel. This could be in the Knight ship, but this is very significant. There's a ton of artifacts in there. I'm convinced that this is possibly a space bridge. If you remember in Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, when Jetfire used Sam to travel in Egypt, he talked about a space bridge. They never acknowledged it just because they didn't back in this time. But what if this is actually the space bridge to transform in time? I've been a soft believer that possibly that the escaped artifact of the Quintessa relic from the app is possibly a time travel device machine. But I thought that was very, very unique, right? Now, right here, you see the pyramid. Now, again, when we talk about the space bridge, we talk about Jetfire, Revenge of the Fallen, we know that the Sun Harvest was hidden under a pyramid, right? The Fallen used the Matrix of Leadership to use suns to restore energy, possibly dark energon. Again, they barely tied it in, but the Primes had one rule other than the Fallen, aka Megatronus, is that he wanted to destroy Earth to restore suns for their planet. The Primes said that they would never take a planet without life, and basically they sacrificed themselves in the Tomb of the Primes to make sure the Fallen did not get the artifact that, basically the Matrix Leadership, for the Fallen to continue with his wicked ways, right? I've been a believer that possibly Quintessa is connected to the Fallen. Now, what's very unique about this is we see Egypt, right? We see the cybertronian seeds rising up, but we see one going right, and then this particular one that's destroying this pyramid is going straight up. I don't know if I'm looking at this too deep, but it almost looks like that these cybertronian seeds, in a way, are fighting, as in this one that is shooting under the Sun Harvest, which means that there was something under the Sun Harvest where Megatronus was trying, I'm sorry, the Fallen was trying to take our sun. There was something under that. I don't know if I'm looking at this too deep again, but I think that that one that's coming out of the pyramid technically is blocking the other seed. Like there is blocking the veins of the cybertronian veins. One's going one, and this one's shooting straight out. It's very significant in mine. I'll leave it at that. But I feel like that there's good and bad. I think this movie is about good and bad. If Unicron possibly could be in this, I hope Primus is in this, man. They're still battling, even kind of in death in a way, right? Now, let's move on to the legend scene, okay? We see right here, we see a piece of Cybertron. But if you look very closely, is this a piece of Cybertron? This, in my opinion, looks like some sort of part that's possibly not involving with that. We see it, if you look very closely, you can see the lightning on it. You can see how this thing is alive. It's breathing, it's moving, but at the very end of this TV snippet, it like twitches in a way. What if this thing is not actually part of we'll call it the Quintessa Night Ship or Cybertron, whatever you want to call it. What if this is possibly a Transformer, maybe a Titan of some sort, right? What if this is actually the good Cybertron in a way? Because I believe that this movie is about manipulation. I think Quintessa is manipulating the system to pretend to be the planet Cybertron, which Cybertron, if you're a fan, if you know Transformers, is Primus, right? But I thought that was very significant. But it's almost like it's awakening in a way. It's breathing, and it possibly is about to transform. Now, in this TV spot with Legend, the main thing that stood out to me is, of course, Optimus, right? We know Optimus is evil, but the first trailer we saw for My World to Live, Yours Must Die. Now, in this one, he says Earth must die. He's referring to Earth as an enemy, as a target, as in Earth itself is actually alive in a way, right? He's referring to it as an object, which is very unique. Now, Transformers Prime, if you ever watched that series, if not, check it out. It's a great series. Unicron, after the battle with Primes, after Primus created the 13, they had the war, they beat Unicron, his parts, body, soul, whatever, spread out in the universe. He became part of the Milky Way Big Bang Theory, and he created Earth. He became the core of Earth. Where literally, Unicron could literally be Earth, and Optimus could be referring to this target, Earth, as evil, as in Unicron, which would tie into Transformers lore. Unicron basically became the core of Earth, and then we were born. Now that's weird. They never touch about this as Transformers Prime, but this is about good and evil. If Unicron, which is the god of chaos, again, a god of chaos, he is a god. He's a dark lord. the human rituals, the skull that we just broke down before, what if humans were also created off of evil in a way? If Unicron actually is in this and actually is Earth, which would explain the hatred, the sin, the evil of the humans against the Transformers, that this is all part of the plan, right? I'm just throwing it out there. I think that the Earth must die is very important, right? Now let's move on to this scene right here. We see Optimus and we see Cade, and I believe that is Vivian. I believe that is Cade and Vivian, right? But what's very unique is we see Optimus is standing and about to slam the ground. When I look at this, I think of that scene with Megatron and Lennox where he's slamming his axe, but instead Prime's slamming the ground. It looks literally identical, minus the hammer factor. We know Megatron and Optimus are brothers. They're connected. I think they're going to be tying it in this one. But this is very significant. What's very unique, though, is... We'll start with Vivian first. Vivian is standing there, and she is holding what I believe is a staff. It could be that staff from the escaped treasure of Cybertron that we see Merlin getting passed to from some sort of Transformer. We'll call him Dragonstorm, where that could be the relic, or it could also be this, too. The pyramid we just talked about. What if this is possibly the Fallen's staff? I'm not sure if it broke. I can't remember. But that would tie into everything, where she could be holding either that escaped relic, or that could actually be the relic tied into both of the Fallen and the escaped treasure of Cybertron. With the gold medallion as well, she could be some sort of wizard, witch, good witch, something of that era. I did in my Quintessa breakdown, I talked about how she's very similar to like a dark god, like a wizardish type, like a witch in a way. The only way to beat a maker of evil would be a maker of good, which possibly could be Vivian. Cade Yeager and Optimus is very unique too right here, because it seems like in these scenes, only Optimus communicates with when Cade is present or Cade is around. It again, with the bond of the knights, right? The absolution of the tip of the sword. I'm a big believer in the sword. Excalibur is in this movie. The background has a sword, right? When King Arthur slams the sword in earth, it's almost like he's locking something in. I'm familiar with the Excalibur trilogy. Basically, only the one can pull the sword from the stone. This is their own little twist, as in like the Excalibur is locking the hate and evil in, which would explain the Infernicons, possibly Unicron, right? Locking the doorway in, right? Where the bond of the knights and the fellowship and the bond between Optimus and Cade Yeager itself, because Cade rescued and brought Optimus back to life and restored his body. Cade is a inventor. Optimus is in debt to him. He's technically a guardian without being confirmed in this. But the only time Optimus seems to really kind of fight the evil inside of him is when a presence of Cade Yeager or some sort of knight is around Optimus. Remember that night theme, because at the end, I'm going to show you something that no one's talking about that I found very remarkable. Now, when he says that, the other thing is Cade screams, "This is not Optimus," right? Now, they've been basically showing an evil Optimus Prime. The idea of Nemesis Prime, Shadow Spark Optimus Prime is in this movie. The writers team is built with the purple eyes. We know purple is dark energon. Of pure evilness. Now, here's where I'm going to get at, is that this red infection itself could actually be the Rust Plague. Quintessa could literally have created the Rust Plague, which has infected Megatron and Optimus. I'll do a TF education down the road. I just want to break down this trailer, but I think that red paint is actually now the Rust Plague or the hate infection in a way. Now, what's also very unique about this is that if it isn't Optimus Prime, right? Shout out to Wes Snip for this too, man. Is that he pointed out this little detail, and it would make sense now if this actually isn't Optimus Prime, which Cade is acknowledging it's not, is that what if possibly Optimus Prime is being held prisoner in Quintessa's ship the entire time we see him being tortured and being destroyed, and somehow that this Optimus Prime that we're seeing wreaking hell on Earth is actually not Optimus Prime. I believe Quintessa has the ability to shapeshift. I've done a breakdown about Steelbane and the similarities between Optimus Prime. What if she's controlling the whole system? The green eyes, I think, is an important thing now in this. I don't know why, but I believe Quintessa is controlling it. Lockdown had green eyes. He worked for the makers. The Knights all have the green eyes, right? What if Optimus is actually being tortured in that ship? And we'll call it Nemesis Prime is wreaking hell on Earth, where basically Optimus is alive inside of this, and Steelblade and him are connected, and Quintessa's power, which we know she's very powerful, can shapeshift the technology to really make us believe that this is Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime is actually in that ship being tortured, where he is still alive. She has to keep him alive, but basically torture the soul to make that this thing, this evil Optimus, still functional. But Optimus, being a Prime, can fight through it, and sometimes maybe we see the good side of him, where maybe that's where he passes a scene of trial of redemption. I'm throwing that out there. Now, at the very end of this scene, too, if you look very closely, we see Optimus holding the sword. If you look really closely, in my opinion, when he transforms his mask, I see a skull in there. Okay? We saw the skull with the horns. We've seen the toys with Skullatron. This skull is an evil hate infection. I can see an Optimus Prime's face. You can see it real briefly. You could see the skull transform on Prime's face, as in he is being possessed in this moment, where this part actually could be some sort of hint of Optimus Prime being released, and actually this could actually be the Optimus Prime. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Now, let's move on to the Tessa scene, right? This is, nobody's talking about this, and I found this extremely fascinating, okay? We'll start at the very beginning with Tessa speaking to Cade Yeager. She's saying, you know, Dad, I can't talk. You know, you got a certain amount of time, blah, blah, blah. I miss you. I love you, right? Tessa is still somehow tied into this. They acknowledge that, and I believe that's the only thing they can see here. But the real cool thing is that we see right here, we see Cogman's armor. We see, in my opinion, in some sort of way, a human hand, which I'm going to assume is Cade Yeager, okay? And we see Cogman's armor. I believe that this is Cogman right here. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think this is Cogman. If you guys saw, I didn't see the IMAX showing the 30 minutes. If you guys did, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But I believe right here that this is almost an upgraded version of Cogman in a way. And Cogman's got so many human features, exactly like the Maker. I believe he was connected to the creators in a way. I also believe he's responsible through escaping with the Knights of Cybertron, with the secret treasure of possibly the Maker, the creator. But Cogman's armor is very significant here, and this handshake is very important. This is a handshake of a knight's bond. We've seen the toys with Cogman with the sword, right? That he could be responsible, one, for passing that relic that gives Cade the cybertronian technology, right? The gold factor, we see all this gold all over with the Dragonstorm medallion. Cogman's gold, a sign of royalty in a way, a power of treasure. And I also believe he's responsible of passing the blood of cybertronian into Cade's body, where basically he's got the humanoid factor and cybertronian factor. I'm talking about Cogman, that he's giving Cade Yeager his cybertronian power to basically fight this evil and give Cade an upgrade, where basically he is technically a hybrid. We saw that in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen with that one chick trying to rip off Sam's head, right? But I thought that was very, very, very significant, okay? Nobody's talking about this scene right here. Everybody's talking about Dragonstorm. When I see right here, you see Optimus Prime coming back. That is Optimus Prime on top of Dragonstorm. Optimus Prime is riding on top of Dragonstorm in this particular scene. I think that this is after he passes his trial of redemption, he escapes. Optimus, I think, again, this reminds me of Dinobot Charge, except it's a dragon, it's Dragonstorm. You see the sword on top of him, and you see Optimus riding into battle with Dragonstorm, right? This whole environment and whole scene is very significant, okay? This, in my opinion, if you check out my Harold the Unicron movie, I talk about that this could be the birthplace, the Jerusalem of the Transformers. This could be where the creators dropped the seeds. This could be where the infection was put down. This could be where the actual creators were possibly creating Unicron, or the spark or soul of Unicron in some way, or possibly Infernicus, right? This scene is all connected. I believe that this scene is also where that one night ship where Merlin and we'll call him Dragonstorm meet. But we see the return of Optimus Prime and Dragonstorm, right? Now, How could this possibly be? Now, I've been a believer that Dragonstorm is connected in some way in Primus. He's connected to some wizard power. I believe this is about manipulation. Quintessa is manipulating Optimus Prime. I think Quintessa is being manipulated by something greater, possibly Unicron, right? And I think Dragonstorm has the ability to manipulate the technology of Quintessa. Now, if you recall in that one trailer where Optimus was riding Grimlock, the trailer that really messed your boy up, is people were thinking that Dragonstorm and Optimus were battling, fighting, and that was a scene that was actually going to happen. I totally disagreed. I think that he was actually training Optimus to get through this trial of redemption and hate, right? Reason why I'm going by this is because in one of the trailer spots, if you look really closely in this one, I can't remember the exact trailer spot, you could see this blue, purple doorway where basically this could be that actual Stargate space bridge that is involving time travel. Where I'm getting at is where the seed was dropped down, it wiped out all the dinosaurs. They were, the creators, the minions, whatever, they were doing a massive production of some sort in that event of Transformers Age of Extinction, where they wiped out all the dinosaurs. I'm thinking, we know Optimus Prime was a knight. It was confirmed by Lockdown. He captured all the knights but Optimus. Optimus could be using Dragonstorm's technology or this Stargate that Dragonstorm is connected to go back in time and rewrite history, right? I'm thinking after the dinosaurs were wiped out, that Optimus came down and the Knights as well came down and basically destroyed the Infernicons, and that's where we see him fighting and slashing all this. That could either be an event that happened or it's happening again. Where basically he destroyed, the Knights might have destroyed all the Infernicons, and just like Revenge of the Fallen, the Tomb of the Primes, the Knights could have sacrificed themselves to lock away whatever's evil because they were too powerful. That actually what we think could be that spaceship could actually be like a tunnel, a dungeon of some sort where something of hate is locked in. And when he's fighting these Infernicons, the Knights might have just been able to destroy them, but whatever is above the Infernicons was too powerful. Just like Prime is having to basically lock away Unicron and with his own personal body, locking him in the core. This could literally be where the Knights and the Battle of Jerusalem was happening, where the dinosaurs were wiped out. This is before the humans, where basically Optimus and the Knights destroyed the Infernicons to basically have us come alive, which Unicron, again, with Transformers Prime, could have possibly created us as well. But this scene is so significant because we are seeing the return of Optimus Prime. And if you look in the very background, you can also see, in my opinion, it's very hard to see, that looks like the Omega Lock. Now, or the little artifact that B and Prime are fighting on, right? Now, if Optimus is returning here, that would mean that there actually is a second Optimus Prime, an evil Optimus Prime, where B is not fighting the correct Optimus Prime. We're being manipulated in a way, if you think about it. At the end of the day, Optimus Prime always comes back and saves us. Now, I think that this space bridge in this time is that Optimus has to rewrite his own history to save Earth and save the humans. And Cade is representing the humans and the bonds of the Knight. The swords are so significant. The Knight's bond is so deep in real history, and the secrets of the Transformers, they've been here forever, right? Excalibur is the weapon of good. I think Optimus has the weapon of hate. And I think Dragonstorm, throughout this whole time, could actually be the guardian of Optimus Prime and is teaching him how to train this evil. In this scene right here, he is returning to save Earth in a way. And also, if you saw the other TV spot, Cade acknowledges to Optimus, "It's your call, Prime," as in that could be after, where Optimus still has a little bit of that dark energon and that hate in, where this is the scene where he could be coming back to destroy the 1A Optimus Prime, the evil Optimus Prime, which could be Steelbane, and Quintessa is manipulating the technology to have in the audience, Cade Yeager, Bumblebee, think that they're fighting the real Optimus Prime, and actually they're not. He's up in space being tortured and living through this spark. Now, it could also come down to Optimus might have to kill this evil Optimus that he's connected to, or even possibly with Megatron, that he might have to sacrifice himself, that basically that they are connected, that Quintessa's power is so great that Optimus could have to kill the evil nemesis that could also sacrifice himself. I mean, Transformers Prime, again, that Predacon Rising movie, he sacrificed himself, became one with Primus. I'm hoping Dragonstorm is the voice, the knowledge of some sort that is connected to Primus. And he was the one that chose Optimus to become the next Prime. That Optimus was created to basically be evil before he became Optimus Prime. And basically, they're rewriting history that Orion Pax could actually be Quintessa's evil version of a gladiator sworn to protect her. Dragonstorm could be manipulating the technology to bring Optimus back to the light with Excalibur and the bonds of the Knights. But this is very unique. This is not a hostile environment. They are riding into battle together. This is a upgraded version of Dinobot Charge, guys. Long live the last Prime. So there you guys have it. There's a trailer. There's 4 trailer breakdowns of what I call the money shots. Very significant, man. When I saw that scene look very closely, oh my gosh, man. I jumped for joy because I do not want Optimus to die. So, if you're not familiar with this channel, we dig deep in the lore of Transformers. To my subscribers, I love you so much. If you guys are open to Transformers speculation in general, we do Transformers all the time. This is our life. Make sure to subscribe if you're not familiar with this channel. We do Transformers education. I got a Facebook coming up. I'm literally investing in this channel for you guys and my subs. Again, my subscribers, I love you so much. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. LPS, Last Prime Speculator, here to bring you another trailer breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.